In today's Ask the Expert, we're talking mortgages with Vince Ingui, president of Louviers Mortgage in Wilmington, Delaware. Many of you have asked us if it's a good time to buy a home, so now we have an expert for you. Vince, you can answer the question because I never know how to answer. What do you say? Home prices are dropping, so is this a good news if you're trying to buy a home?
Absolutely. It's a buyer's market. It's absolutely a buyer's market, and the way I look at it, it's always a buyer's market because that's ultimately who dictates the demand and who's bringing the sellers into the table or sometimes getting that price mark where they need to be. But oil prices have dropped. Interest rates are still extremely good. We're probably in the low sixes for the 30-year, which, again, historical 50-year lows. Very good time to buy still, absolutely.
Oh, well, that's good news. All right, let's get to a couple of our viewers. One lady, young lady, has a two-part question. Take a listen.
I just want to ask the expert what I should be doing now since I'm in college to save up money to buy a house, or if it would be better just getting out of college to rent a house at first, especially in the city.
The most important thing you have to do while you're in college is get the degree. Make sure that you graduate. Saving money is an important thing. I think the most important thing is watching your credit. Make sure that you pay your bills every single month. When you graduate college, your job is going to be in place. If you have a little bit of cash on the side, it's going to help. But the most important thing is having that credit in place, because ultimately that's what's going to dictate your financial future, and that's how you're going to have real control over the house that you buy and ultimately the interest rate that you get as well.
That's a very important one. I'm glad you mentioned that because credit gets a lot of college students. Really quickly before I get to one more email, is there a bar for when you should start buying versus renting, or when you should look at buying when you get out of college? Does it just depend?
It depends. I think you need to have some job stability and also a sense of security as to where you're going to be, at least for a couple of years. Because if you're going to purchase, there's going to be a cost to it, and you have to pay tax and you have to pay closing costs, and it may take 2 or 3 years before you recoup that, depending on the market, with the equity and the appreciation. So if you're just getting out of school, you're not sure about what you're doing yet, or where you want to be from a career standpoint, sometimes renting is a good thing. It gets you into the getting steady and making that monthly payment every single month.
Paying those bills.
Paying the bills, exactly.
All right, now we have an email from Rosalind. She writes, being seniors, my husband and I are interested in more information on reverse mortgages. How effective is this, and are there any loopholes? Very
important question, very popular question I think that we're going to see over the next 10 to 15 years. Right now, the baby boomer demographic, the average age is about 60 years old. So, I think with the problem with reverse mortgage, the only problem is sometimes is misinformation or not enough information. With a reverse mortgage, if you are a senior and you're over the age of 62 years old, there's a tremendous amount of benefits into tapping into the equity that you have in your home. Basically, if you take out a mortgage, whether it be a home equity line of credit in the form of reverse mortgage, a lump sum, or monthly payments, you never have to pay that money back until either you sell or until you end up passing away. And the money that comes out, most importantly, is tax-free. But it is important that you meet with an independent consultant. The government offers this, FHA offers this to get the pros and cons for reverse mortgages, but there are very little pitfalls. If anything, there's more benefits. The problem is sometimes lack of education.
Good advice. Well, if you have a question for Vince, just email us at asktheexpert@fox29.com. Tomorrow, we're talking with Dr. Mike and men's health issues more specifically. So you have any kind of a question for any of our experts, you can go to myfoxphilly.com under the Good Day section and click on Ask the Expert. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
That
Pleasure.
was good.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Scott, over to you.
All right, Chanel, learning to watch